Hey, what's up everybody? In this video tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how to create a red vine licorice candy using Onshape. So this one looks really complicated and crazy, but honestly, I think you're going to find it's not as hard as what you think it's going to be. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to create a new document in Onshape, and I'm going to call this red vine candy and say OK. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is using our dial calipers, we're going to get the measurement of just the main tube portion. And I get there's like little ridges on the outside and they spiral and do whatever. But right now we're going to be focusing on like the main tube. So I'm going to create a sketch, pick on a plane, does not matter, and look at that plane. Okay, so there are going to be two circles inside of each other to create this tube. The inside diameter of this is going to be a diameter of 0.17. Okay, and our outside diameter is going to be a diameter of 0.285. All right, so we're going to be seeing we have concentric circles here. Let's go ahead and just green check that to finish the sketch, and let's go ahead and do an extrude now. So when I go to do the extrusion, I'm not going to be focusing on the inside because I want to leave that alone. I want that to be hollow. So I'm now going to be picking in this profile area between the two circles, and now it's going to start creating that tube. Okay, so taking a look at the dial caliper measurement that we got, we should be seeing something like 7.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and just send it out 7.5 inches and green check it. All right, so we have like the inside tube portion ready to go. Now we can begin creating a sketch here on the face. So I'm going to be picking on this flat face on the end to create my sketch, and now I'm going to be looking at that sketch. All right, so I'm going to be drawing my first circle here. This is going to be at the very top of this. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this right out. And the measurement on that, taking a look with the dial calipers, it looked like it was something like 0.072. All right. Now the thing is, there's going to be 6 of these. We could easily come out here and create all 6 of those circles, but we'd have to worry about angles and all that. There's a much easier way of doing it. And the way I'm thinking about doing this is coming up here using something called circular pattern. Circular pattern is going to be asking you to select the geometry first. And we can see by default, it's wanting to put 3 of these at 360 degrees. But if I pick on the 3 times, if I double click that, now I can change that over to 6 and hit enter. And now we have 6 of those spread across 360 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and just green check that. All right, so now all 6 of those have been arranged in that circular pattern. Okay, before we kind of keep moving on, we now need to create something called a helix. Okay, helix is going to be found underneath work planes here. And if we look down, we can find helix. What we have to do first is come out here and pick on the face. And now we can see that helix is going to be wrapping around that current cylinder that we have. Okay, now it's also going to be asking how many times do we want this to wrap around that cylinder over the course of the length of this, this tube, this straw. Okay, and taking a look at my actual red vine in front of me, I can see that's about 3.5 revolutions. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just green check that. Okay, so that helix is wrapping around 3.5 times. So the last part of this is using something called sweep. Sweep is going to take a profile that we have. So in this case, it's going to be these 6 partial circles, and it's going to be sending it down that path of the helix. Okay, and what it's going to be doing is extruding as it goes. All right, so let's come up here. We're going to pick on sweep. First thing we have to do is pick on the profile. So I'm going to be picking on these outside portions of these circles. Okay, and now what I have to do is come over here and pick on sweep path box and then just actually pick on the helix. Okay, it's going to be crunching the numbers and doing whatever. Now we're going to see that this is all like multicolored here because right now it's just wanting to create this as a new body. What we want to do is actually add this to our current tube. Okay, when that happens, we're going to be getting this sort of copper colored, which is usually not a good sign. Okay, so what we're going to do is just say, you know what, we want to merge this with the current body that we have there. And now we're going to see how it jumps over. We green check it, and now we have ourselves a red vine. Okay, I'm going to come in here and just turn off the work planes. Okay, I'm going to look at this in an isometric view. And now I'm going to come out here and actually make this look like true red licorice by adding red to it, green checking it, and now getting rid of that color appearance. Okay, and now if we want to see what the human eye actually sees, if we come over to this little box, we can now switch this from diametric, okay, down here where it should be saying perspective. Okay, if we turn on perspective, Now, if we use our zoom, this is actually going to be the perspective view. This is what the human eye actually sees for a red vine. Okay, so that is actually what the red vine should look like in real life, and it looks pretty darn close, right? So there you go. That's how you create a red vine using Onshape.